Hello Aries, welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. If Aries is your sun, moon, or rising sign, this is your reading. Please hit the like button, leave a comment. Consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. And if there is anything you would like me to pray over or meditate upon or send positive energy toward, please let me know. All right. Now this is going to be a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger. And I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I provide. And remember, Aries, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. And a 5 of Pentacles to begin. A lot of changes happening. The 5s always talk about change, and I feel like this is a change in circumstances for you. But let's put that into some context. I feel maybe we're a little bit resistant to the change. Maybe it's kind of coming in a little bit too quickly. But I think we know it's going to be for the better, right? Let's see. A lot of court cards here. Oh yeah, a lot of court cards, a lot of fiery energy, a lot of very active cards. This is going to be interesting. Let's select our mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. We're using Smith-Waite Tarot for the mystery card, and this is just one random card. We're going to set it down here. We'll put the little horse on top, and we'll let them hang out right over there. Now, we're not going to look at that card until the very end. Hopefully, it will tie everything together, give us the confirmation that we need. All right. Let's look at these energies again. This is interesting. We've got major and major over here, right? Above us and within us. This is, I think, what we're feeling and what we're experiencing. That's spiritual forces. But we have also a lot of fire, fire, fire. There's no water. As far as air energy goes, there's air here, here, and here. And then the earth energy we have here and here. So there's no water here. I feel like this is something where we either aren't sure exactly how we feel about it, as far as our kind of joy or sorrow about it, our kind of our general feelings. With this change, change of circumstances, there's some sort of motion going on in the physical environment that I think is maybe causing a little bit of anxiety for you, probably because we don't really know what it means or how we're supposed to feel about it. It could be a job change. It could be a relationship change. It could be, anything that's going on that feels a little bit abrupt, I think, right? Anything, it could be something health or wellness related. It could be an injury or an illness. Something's going on with you. It's happening very quickly. It's causing changes in your physical environment. Not really sure how to feel about it, right? I kind of get this sense, we have so many of these active cards, right? We have the 5, which is, even though it's the earth element here with the 5 of Pentacles, it's still a 5. It's still motion, right? We've got fire, fire. We've got air, which is an active element. Even this earth energy, the Knight of Pentacles, is the fire of earth. A lot of fire and air, a lot of active energies here. Nothing really to settle us down again, I feel like it's kind of a crazy time right now, The saving grace, I think, is that we trust in the universe that this is for the better, that things are changing, that there is this kind of whirlwind of activity around us that's for a good purpose, right? It's going to be okay in the end. This is meaningful. There's a reason for all of this. It's a trust thing, really, right? We're having faith, keeping the faith. And also, we feel like we are equipped to handle anything that comes our way. We're equipped to handle this kind of change, this kind of activity, this abrupt. I almost wonder why we don't just have a tower energy. Let's just get straight to the point, right? There's no tower card here. Maybe the mystery card, I don't know. But the sun down here feels like we are confident in ourselves that we can handle all of this, right? But let's talk about these two. These two are the first two cards that we encounter, the Five of Pentacles and the Princess of Swords. I feel like we're trying to still defend ourselves against this. Maybe this is some kind of change in circumstances, a shifting in the physical environment that part of us is trying to resist. Okay? That Princess of Swords is trying to defend a position. It's kind of futile. I think that it is just a kind of last-ditch effort to prevent this thing from coming, or to try to reason against it. But it's coming with a rush of fire. You see, with this Knight of Pentacles into this Knight of Wands, with this Ten of Wands, it's just a rush of this fire energy that's sweeping all of this earth energy in a new direction. And I think, because I keep thinking of the Knight of Pentacles here, and the idea that the future is looking a lot different than it used to kind of before this episode, right? This is a new vision. The Knight of Pentacles is now at the end of this understanding the purpose of it all, understanding how all of this is kind of contributing to this amazing future, right? But I think this is a crazy time for you. I think things are changing very quickly. I think we do try to resist it, right, with the Princess here. But this is kind of our due diligence, right? It's almost as if we have to at least, try to reason with the universe, or to defend our position as it is now. We have to kind of rebel against the change a little bit, just to feel as if we are, that we've done our due diligence, that we've tried, and it's just the inertia of the universe, the momentum, and there's really nothing we can do to stop this, right? This is one of those inevitable things. I don't think it's a negative change, but I do think it's disruptive. I think it feels like a very crazy time. Probably the reason why we don't have a tower is because we need to understand all of the implications of this. If we just had a tower, then we don't know who, what, when, where, or why, right? It's just big disruption, and there's nothing else there to think about. This is kind of the inside of the tower, right? We're kind of unpacking a tower moment here. Behind everything is this Knight of Wands, fire and fire, a very quick-moving rush of fire. This thing is really, once it got started, there was no stopping it. It's kind of like you're trying to fight it off with this very small dagger, but it's just a rush of energy, and there's no way, but we're going to try anyway, right? It's a change of, it's disruptive in the sense that it is, it's like a fire that is consuming its fuel, right? And the fuel, of course, is the things that we've established in our lives, the relative constancy that we feel, the relative stability that we feel in our lives. This fire energy is coming in, and it seems like everything is changing now. Maybe the job is changing, maybe the family dynamic is changing, maybe where we live is changing, we're changing, and we're growing older, or we are, we're beginning to realize that we need to focus a little bit more on our health and our fitness. Maybe there is a lot of financial movement going on in your life, something like that. But it seems like everything at once, right? When it rains, it pours, kind of, but with fire, I guess. So it is very natural for us to kind of resist this, to be a little bit worried about it, to have some anxiety over a situation like this. But the universe here, the reason why we have these are the only major arcana cards we have today. The rest literally are like court cards and fire-air energy. The reason why we have these two major arcana is to try to in some ways, shield you from the devastating effects of this, right? The universe is saying, trust in the process, trust in the timing, right? Trust that everything is going to unfold as it should. This tower moment is happening. We can do our best to understand the inner workings of it. This is kind of looks like the gears inside of the tower, right? It's kind of the inner workings of it. It is part of your fate and your destiny. So up above everything, we have this Wheel of Fortune. We're trying to focus on it. We're trying to understand that, yes, this is meant to be. It is inevitable. It is happening. I have to adapt to it. I have to put my trust and faith and hope in it. This is also, I think, on a more kind of practical level, I think this is something that we knew was coming, right? It's something that maybe not that we've caused it or that we've contributed to it, but it's kind of like what we expect to be part of the process right now in our lives, right? Whether this is financial, something with the family, if it's something career-wise or whatever it is. It's something that is very natural. It's a very normal part of the process, and this is just the time in life that it generally is going to happen, right? So it's not like we were completely ignorant, I think we knew that this is part of the life cycle of whatever realm we're talking about. Nevertheless, we still feel this resistance. We still feel the anxiety, and in the moment, we're doing everything we can to defend against it. We're kind of powerless against it, but we try, because that's human nature, right? The other major arcana being this solar energy, this sun card here. This is very cool. This is the kind of the same. Honestly, it's like the same as the Wheel of Fortune, but it's now internally. It's trust in ourselves. It's trust in our higher soul, higher self, God, Goddess, deity, that spark, that divine within us. Trust in ourselves that we can endure this, that no matter what happens externally, right? No matter what is changed, altered, destroyed, or constructed around us, we are still this shining divine spark, this divine fire, this light, right? This sun, this star, really. That we are unchanged, that who we are fundamentally is unchanged by these circumstances. It's like the well in the Jing, right? If you study the Eastern philosophies, the well, the divine source, right? The kind of the core purpose of everything never changes. Those civilizations rise and fall, villages and towns and homes and people rise and fall all around the well. The well is always there, it's always constant, and it is always nourishing if we know how to draw from it. So I feel like this is very, very much the same as that. I guess if it was an Ace of Cups, maybe it'd be a little bit more fitting. But to me, it feels like that. This is that divine source. It radiates light and heat and comfort and creativity and confidence. And this is deep within us. This is something that is unchanged by whatever whirlwind is going on, whatever craziness is in our life. This is still constant. And this is you. This is fundamentally you. And it's the trust, I think. And both of these cards, the Wheel of Fortune and the Sun card, they work together, right? This is the sun and this is its orbit. And we're trusting in both. We're trusting that no matter what happens, we're going to get through this and we're going to be okay. Now, the way forward is kind of just to let everything kind of happen and let it settle down. Let's preserve ourselves. Let's put ourselves in this major arcana energy. And let's just allow this fire energy to work itself out. Things will settle down. Here's the Ten of Wands in tomorrow's energy. It's exhausted, right? This fire energy, this whirlwind of change has burned itself out. Things can settle down and you can sort things out and move forward from here. We can't fight against this kind of fire energy. This princess of Swords is really no match against this. But this will burn itself out, right? And the only problem with the Ten of Wands is that it is so far removed from the well, from the ace, from the source, right? It's a 10. That it may just not know when its turn is over, right? It may not know when to quit. That's the only risk I think that's involved. And I think that's very important for us to keep in mind. Yes, we want to let this burn itself out, but we also want to make sure that it doesn't just keep smoldering beyond its lifetime, you know. Once its job is done, let it go back to source, right? I don't know how we really have any control over that except for us to stay in our major arcana, stay in our spiritual connection. And let this kind of run its course, let it burn itself out. Now, if we had some water energy here, perhaps to temper this fire, if we needed to, maybe the mystery card will be some water energy. But now let's move over to the path of the serpent, because once this fire energy does burn itself out, we've got a Prince of Swords. We've got this kind of, this is kind of us trying to understand now where everything ended up. It feels like a real crazy time. Lots of stuff going on. I don't think it's just a work thing. I don't think it's just a family thing. It's like everything at once. Yeah. Now that everything has settled down, we're trying to make sense of it. We're trying to figure out what goes where. Figure out the best course of action in every area. So this Prince of Swords feels a little bit kind of discombobulated, right? A little disorganized. I feel like this is maybe our attempt to make sense of everything, to sort it out logically, right? When I don't know that that's really what we need. We've got the air energy it kind of isn't really useful to us right now. It wasn't during this whole process, but afterwards, well, maybe. We see air here in the kind of the afterwards. So there's this attempt to sort it out and make logical sense of what happened, trying to get organized, maybe trying to make a plan in every sector of our lives that's been affected by this, how we're going to move forward. But there's an indication here that it's not so much the air energy that we need, but it's the fire energy. The fire energy, the fire of change, I think, has burned itself out. But there is now this creative fire within us, which is part of this sun and Wheel of Fortune, spiritual energy, that I think we need to use, we need to channel it up here to our vision of the future. But we've got all of this air, this mental energy that is bringing about more anxiety. Now, the Eight of Wands. This, I think, is the anxiety that we begin to feel when we're here in the middle of it, and we realize that we're kind of powerless. We're incapable of stopping it or really doing anything. We can maybe slow it down a little bit, but not much. That causes some anxiety. The Eight of Wands, very much wanting to do something, kind of getting antsy, tap dancing in place, not really able to do anything. We're just spinning our wheels. We're pacing around the house because there's nothing for us to do, right? There's nothing that we can do. We have to wait for the fire energy. We have to wait for all of these changes to take place, for things to calm down, and then we can figure out what we want, right? So instead of us kind of spinning our wheels like this, which again I think is also part of this air energy, because the air energy is, especially a Prince of Swords, is going around and around and around in circles. Has no exact direction, doesn't know which way is up, doesn't know how to make sense of things. And then we see our vital energy too, our consciousness, our spiritual energy, this fire here is going in every direction at once, right? So it's kind of spinning around in circles too. It's a lot of activity, and these two together are a lot of mental and kind of spiritual anxiety. But here is different. Here is, well, this is the Knight of Swords. This is fire of air. Fire of air. This is kind of now a unity of the fire energy and the mental energy, the kind of the consciousness, the creative energy, and the mental energy now are united in this card. So the Knight of Swords, this might be the key to it all. This is now turning our anxiety, turning our mental stress and our turmoil, turning it toward the future, channeling it into maybe asking for a vision, right? This is the unification of our creative, spiritual, vital energy and our mental energy. And that, I think, is what brings about this vision. The Knight of Pentacles now has calmed down the nervous energy. The fire in the air has kind of calmed down. The rush of change, all of the kind of craziness that's around us has settled. The Knight of Pentacles is very calm, is surveying the future now, surveying the entire situation. Not mentally nervous, stressed, not restless, right? Not anxious, not frantic. It's not just caught up in the hectic energy. Calm. Trying to channel all of that fire energy into spiritual vision. To see now the benefit of all of this change was for a big purpose. Sometimes it's going to seem a little hectic and a little crazy. It's setting you up for something totally amazing. We have to find it. We have to see it. So the Knight of Pentacles can see, amidst all of this kind of chaos, can see what is going to be built up in its place, right? So this is the card that, with this spiritual vision, this insight, this intuition, this spiritual fire and consciousness, can see the purpose behind all of this, can see what it is that's being created through this process, right? So there's a more long-term vision here. There's more of this realization that all of this energy, all of this is happening within a tower moment. And after the tower moment, right, this is just kind of in one instant, this all happens. Then the Knight of Pentacles can see, okay, we've gotten rid of all this stuff, all this thing, all of these areas of my life have been altered and changed. A lot of energy just passed through. Now look at this potential. Now look at all these new opportunities. Look at what is growing in these places now. It's an understanding of this, the benefit, the purpose of this kind of instant tower moment, of what we're creating through it, if that makes sense. We can understand how this is an investment, right? This is something that we have to endure for our long-term success. It may be very stressful right now. It may seem crazy right now. But this is necessary to your long-term success. And the Knight of Pentacles can see that. Not just understand it, not feel it, can see it, right? Because of the fire connection. But let's look at the mystery card. I wonder if this is going to be some sort of water energy. I hope that it is. I forgot what else I said it might be. Maybe the water energy. Thank you, little horse. Okay, could be water. Maybe some very harmonious earth energy, right? I'd like to see, well, an Empress I think would be just fantastic. But at least maybe a 6 of discs or something like that, right? Or that Ace of Cups, that's right, for the well. Yeah, well, let's see what we have. No, not yet. We've got moon energy. Moon energy. This is, it's still indicating the requirement for us to have this vision. We have to channel we have to trust in our our inner sun, right? And we have to use this as the source of the fire for the Knight of Pentacles, right? We have to have this vision. Because as it stands right now with this moon card, this is confirming that a very large change, a very kind of widespread change is occurring in your life, okay? And this card also confirms the anxiety because the future is unknown, because it's disruptive to our life right now. We don't understand what's coming. We try to trust it. We're trying to be calm and okay with that. We don't yet understand it. We don't yet have the vision of it, but we're trying to, in our heart, just trust things, you know. This card's confirming that in order for you to see, to really know and believe what we're trying to put our faith in, we have to have this spiritual vision. We have to have this illumination. It is the sun in this card that's illuminating that moon, that landscape, right? The sun, obviously the moon reflects the sunlight. So we're waiting for this kind of dark night of confusion to pass. We're waiting for that sun to rise. We have to be that sun that rises so that we can now see the landscape and have the vision of what is coming. But right in the middle of this situation, it's difficult to see this, right? So I think this moon is the confirmation of everything that we're talking about, and yet also a confirmation of what needs to be done, how we move into the future, how we get through a situation like this. So I feel like this is a real crazy time for you right now, Aries. But I think we have to try to adapt to it the best that we can. We have to have our faith, our hope, and our trust in the process. And we have to really try to channel our forces to see and understand, to have the vision of what's coming next, right? This is part of the process for you. And I think the future is going to be amazing. Right now it doesn't feel that way. I get that. We're going to do an extended, too. If you want to stick around, click on the link up in the corner. That'll give you access to all of the extended readings, not just for Aries, but for every sign. New readings come out every day at 6 a.m. Chicago time, so please subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss any readings, right? I want to thank you for being here, and thank you very much for letting me read for you.